1. I ran into this store during lunch because I thought it wouldn't be very busy. I was wrong. They mailed me a 20% off my entire purchase coupon, so I was going to buy a few of those scent pod things. It was a Bath and Body Works. Anyways, I left the coupons sticking out of the front pocket of my purse. Not super far. It was tucked in safely in the front pocket. I don't know how anyone would notice it there. I never look at other people that closely anyhow when I'm out shopping. I kinda just keep my eye on the prize, so to speak. Not looking around at other people's purses, that's for sure. So I'm looking at the scent pod, smelling some, staying in my lane, when someone taps me on my shoulder. I turn around and this lady asks, "Are you going to use that coupon?" I'm really taken aback because I'm literally in the store that the coupon is for. If I'm shopping in the store with the coupon, I'm probably going to use it. So even though I'm usually polite, I'm shocked enough by being interrupted by such a brazen question that I'm like, yes, that's why I'm here. Oh, the 20% off coupon? Yes. I tried to turn back around. She taps me again. Well, do you think they'll let us both use it? Well, I don't think so. At this point, she changes her tone and gets rude with me. Well, how do you know? Have you asked before? Now, I'm not the most assertive person, so I was like, well, I could ask when I go up to the register. The lady holds her hand out and says, well, you can let me try it first, and then I'll ask them. And I'm just standing there, staring at her like, what the fuck? The audacity. And does she think I'm dumb? Like, sure, you use the coupon first on your stuff, then ask if I can use it when they'll inevitably say no, and I'll be the one to be out of luck. Ugh. So I finally just say, no, sorry, I'll ask when I go up, and then just turn around and walk a few steps away. I tuck the coupon in deeper into my pocket, because at this point she was so bold I'm worried she'll just grab it. She watches me for a while, but I just keep looking at other things, trying to avoid eye contact. When I do go up to pay, the cashier just takes the coupon away and puts it in the register. I didn't even ask if I could use it again because I don't want to be that person. Then I just quickly walked out of the store, eyes forward, so I wouldn't have to see this woman again. Thing is, she was already at the store with stuff in her bag. She was already planning to buy things. Nothing in that store is necessary. She just spied my coupon and was like, I could get this stuff cheaper. 2. I worked in a few places, currently in a cafe, and I do volunteering in some charity shops. So I do deal with a lot of entitled people almost daily due to my workaholic lifestyle, where I constantly want to be doing something. Some small things which are annoying but happen quite often in charity shops, where people try to use blue light cards when we don't accept them. I get it, you do a good job that helps people but often doesn't pay well. But everything we sell is extremely cheap, and we had a lady try to buy Dr. Martens, which we were selling for £6.99, and she tried to use a blue light card. I explained to her that we don't accept blue light cards here. Usually the woman would let out that loud sigh to make it clear she is annoyed with you, or make a comment about how ridiculous that is. But no, she insisted, along the lines of, you do accept it, every shop does, which is not true, not every shop accepts it, which I calmly explained to her, and after around 5 minutes of going back and forth, she finally stopped arguing and paid for the shoes. Another small thing which is annoying, that it does not happen that often, but often enough that I can say confidently it happens at least twice a week, is when a person, usually a man, comes into the cafe I work at and orders multiple things on the menu and complains when it takes too long. I'm sorry, but ordering a stack of 5 pancakes, 2 chicken wraps, 2 large cokes, several waffles, hash browns, sausages, baked beans on toast, and black pudding does not take 2 minutes. These are annoying, and I could name even more, but I can deal with those easily, and they don't bother me too long. Usually, once the person leaves the cafe or shop, I practically calm down instantly, but what happened today? That is what made me want to quit working completely. I didn't, though. It starts off as a normal day. Actually better than a normal day, as we had a calm day with not many people, and just small families with teenagers, so we don't have to deal with messy tables or little children running around or yelling. But a large family came in. There was a total of 8 children, I would say. The youngest was around 4, and the oldest was around 7. Clearly weren't all their children, perhaps a small party, though I doubt it was. They asked for a table for 20. There was only 9 of them, so it was a little confusing, and I explained that we don't have tables big enough for a table of 20, but we have a table that can fit 15 if they want that one instead. That table usually is booked, but wasn't today, and I wish it was, as they might have went off to another cafe and bothered someone else. It was lucky for them, but not for me, and the other waitress and our chef. It took around 15 minutes to get all the kids to the table. The parents were not helping, and usually if kids are running around, we do not do anything, but these kids were climbing everywhere. Some of these kids almost made it to the kitchen if it wasn't for the entitled mother yelling at them that they can't go in the kitchen, as they might end up poking an eye out. Bear in mind, we don't have anything around these 6-year-olds' eye level that would poke an eye out, but we do have a lot of boiling water, knives, and extremely hot stoves, so the whole kitchen is quite dangerous in my opinion for a bunch of 6-year-olds. But that is all these parents did to try and control these kids, and when I asked, "Do you mind calling your children to the table as they're causing a disturbance in the cafe?" their response was, "There isn't anyone else here, they're fine. If you have such an issue with it, you go get them back to the table." I generally was shocked at this. My co-worker, Jess, was on her break, but she was kind enough to enter break early to help me get all these kids to the table. I'm so thankful for that, as well as I'm not good with kids. I only managed to get 2 of the kids back to the table, and she managed to get the rest back with ease. And once we got the last kid back, the one who had dirt on their face as he was digging up the plants, these entitled parents had the audacity to say to us, "Took you long enough." We do have a strict boss who wasn't in yet, so we didn't want to kick them out before our boss could actually see what was happening, as he would be on the customer's side before even checking the security footage, and checking with us to see what actually happened. So we just tried our best to bottle up how we were feeling, and hoped our boss, Ross, would come back in time to actually deal with them. According to Jess, as she worked here longer than me, she said that we only had 1 person kicked out and banned from the cafe, and they weren't as bad as these people. So that got my hopes up that I would never have to deal with these people again. Now, let's skip a few minutes to when the entitled dad whistled me over like a dog. I did make a comment at this saying, "Please don't whistle at me to get my attention, you can call my name, Thea." He scoffed at this and then proceeded to say their order. It was a large order, but expected for a large group and wasn't as bad as I expected. I thought it would be more, as they were being so rude, but I tried thinking positively and that perhaps they had a bad day and they are just overwhelmed with all these kids. Now this order had a lot, so Jess helped out the chef, Eric. Jess isn't the best cook, but she only did the easy things like boiling the eggs for him, making the toast while he made the pancakes and waffles. During this time, I tried sitting at one of the booths. Not close to them, but I could see their whole table, and I did keep a close eye on them. I thought this was a smart idea, and it would have been if they didn't eat something every 5 seconds.
"How long will it take?" "Are you allowed to be sitting down during your work?" "We want a new cup, these are too small." "There isn't enough ice in my water." "We want new cutlery, these are dirty."
I can confirm they were not dirty, and they didn't even notice that I just gave them the same cutlery back, as I knew they were clean. And before anyone says that they might have dropped it or something, I had my eye on them the whole time to make sure they didn't cause any chaos, and the cutlery they wanted to change, only the entitled parents' cutlery, were the only ones left untouched.
"Does the pancake have eggs in it?"
they asked out of curiosity, not even for allergies or dietary reasons.
"Do you have a spare hairband? Mine broke." "Oh wait, I got one in the bag, never mind."
And this was annoying, and I felt as if they knew what they were doing, as once I sat down every time they would call me over.
Thea."
In that annoying teacher's voice, it made me want to rip my ears off, but I kept calm, answered all their questions with a smile on my face. Now here in the UK, we don't get tipped as nicely as Americans. Quite often I don't get tipped, so I did this expecting perhaps a small tip for dealing with them. It took around an hour and a half to get all their food out. We wanted to make sure it all comes out of the kitchen at the same time, and it was all warm, but the eggs and toast for the parents were finished quicker than expected, so they came out 5 minutes earlier than the rest of the food. This is where the chaos everyone loves happens.
Where's the rest of the food?
Oh, they're about to be right out.
How long? Exact time, we aren't mind readers.
And she gives me that dirty smile that makes you feel so angry. As you can tell, they aren't being nice at all. It should just be 5 minutes. I try laughing it off, as usually it works with the rude people I serve.
Why is it taking so long? We have been here for hours and you want us to wait even longer.
The tickets say the time that they were printed. I know you've been waiting for around 30 minutes, but that is expected to make 4 deluxe 5-stacked pancakes and 3 deluxe waffles. And you did request for all the food to come out at the same time. We did try to time it, but your 2 meals just finished quicker than expected, so we didn't want it to get cold. I did expect them to interrupt me, but they actually let me say all of this, so I thought they might have understood that we were doing our job best as possible and didn't want to serve them cold food.
You're a chef, and you don't know how long it takes to boil an egg? Pathetic.
I'm now a little annoyed, but still trying to be nice. I am not the chef, and he just made one small mistake, and we are so sorry about it. I am not sorry at all.
You seem very sorry with that attitude.
I am sorry if I gave an attitude. I just had a long day. I have not had a long day, but I need to stay calm, as I know my boss will be back soon. And if I were to yell at them like I wanted to, I just know he would walk in and fire me on the spot.
We also had a hard day, but you don't see us being bitchy.
Just get the pancakes out now.
I will go see if they're done now. I leave. I can hear them snicker, and talking about me being incompetent and unable to do simple tasks, but I start to feel as if luck was on my side, as once I get into the kitchen, I see Ross entering from the back at the same time as me. I explain everything quick as possible. The pancakes were almost done. They were just plating it all up. He was very understanding and told me to stay at the counter at the front and serve any new customers, and he will serve this family. So, this is everything I heard and saw. He serves the family. I can see them complain, and heard them talk even more about me, saying how
she's so bad they replaced her already.
Now I could see Ross getting annoyed, but he was doing his job. He didn't put on his manager badge and instead had another co-worker's badge on. So I realized he was pretending to be a normal employee, so they wouldn't start acting differently, as he owns the cafe. When the food all gets there, the kids were extremely messy, even wiping their dirty hands from all the ice cream and chocolate sauce on the chairs. Now these chairs had fabric on them, and can be easy to stain if left dirty. I saw these parents laughing at this, and not telling them off, not even saying anything to the kids. Then I saw the kids starting to get up and run around again. Now Ross already knows how bad they were when they were first running around, and now they're covered in food, so you can assume it's worse. Before I go to stop them, Ross tells me, "It's my table now, I'll deal with it." So he goes over to the parents and tells them, "Tell your children to sit down. They're making a mess." And he got the same response as they gave me. This is when he says, "I'll get your bill." I heard some arguing. Apparently they didn't want to pay yet or leave, so he explains how they're being kicked out as their behavior is making the cafe a mess, and making people not want to come into the cafe. Now this felt like something out of one of those Reddit stories where they said, "You can't kick us out, you're not the manager." And I saw his smirk.
"I am the manager, and you're being kicked out. And if you don't leave, you'll be banned from ever eating here again."
Me and Jess loved this. If we had popcorn, it would have been perfect. They refused to leave for a few minutes, but did pay. And when they were leaving, he yelled out,
"You're banned forever. Never come back here," and then he called them a rude name. At this, the father turned around so quickly and yelled, "We have children, don't swear in front of them." This is where I cut in and say, "You were swearing in front of them earlier." Now Ross did tell me off for this comment, but not in front of them, as he didn't want to make them feel as if they were in the right, as they weren't. But they did argue with Ross for a bit, and I will summarize that for you. They didn't want to leave, wanted a refund for bad service.
Russ said they paid for the food and did not tip, and since they ate all the food, they don't get a refund. This repeats until he threatens to call the police, so they leave. Now, he didn't check the security footage, but he said judging from their behavior, he knew what we said was the truth, which was nice to hear. 3. So I have a good one today from last night's shift. I work in a hotel that has lots of ballroom and conference spaces, and it is holiday party time of the year. We had a large group, over 400, come in for a party last night, and had about 20 or so staying in the hotel. I had a guest come in to check for his wife, and they have 2 reservations under her name in the system. I confirm 2 reservations and get the dreaded dead-eye stare. I confirm again, and the husband immediately pulls out his phone to call his wife. It turns out the second reservation is a duplicate and was made by mistake. Now, we have a 24-hour cancellation policy like most places, and I explain that unfortunately I will have to charge for this second room. The guy kind of grumbles, so I tell him, well, here's what I can do. If I can sell the room, I know I'm going to sell the room. We were sold out and had been getting calls all day for rooms. I will sell it, and I won't charge you for any cancellation. The guy seems okay and takes the deal. Now, about 20 minutes later, here comes the Karen. A woman comes huffing up to the desk, followed by her husband, who tells me, "This is my wife." Okay, good for you, sir. She comes up to the desk and shoves her phone into my face to show me she only made 1 reservation, and she wasn't paying for the other room because it was our website that glitched, so it isn't her fault. She proceeds to scream in my face that this is a me problem and not a her problem, and I need to do something about it. I, of course, just cancelled the damn room to get the crazy lady away from me. She then tells me,
Yes, that's the right thing for you to do,
in a super condescending tone. Okay, ma'am, whatever you say. She walks away, and I begin to write an email to the catering manager in charge of their party. We don't put up with this kind of nonsense, and I know the catering manager will talk to her contact and make sure she is held accountable for her actions. Now comes the crazy part. About an hour later, the woman is walking in the lobby, while I am as well, and as I come around a Christmas tree, we have 3 12-foot trees in our lobby for Christmas, and she is walking straight at me, I immediately think, oh great, here we go again. And I get ready for a fight. She stops me, puts her hand in my arm, and says,
I'm so sorry for the way I acted earlier. I shouldn't have come to you like that, and I've had a headache all day. That's not an excuse for my behavior, but I wanted to apologize and just tell you how sorry I am for that.
I was a bit shocked. No one ever apologizes, so that was a bit cool to have her come back and take accountability for her behavior. I decided not to write the email to the catering manager since she came back and seemed genuinely sorry. Another day at the front desk. 4. So this happened during COVID in 2022, when all hospitals were not allowing any visitors. I worked in a rehabilitation hospital, and we were the only hospital in the valley that was allowing window visits. The patient will stay inside while the family and friends would be outside, and they would communicate by being on the phone. It was just something we tried to do to help the patient have more support being in rehab. I was the main person of contact and the one who had to wheel the patient downstairs and back up, etc. Also the person who gives a small orientation to the patients when they first arrived. To give a background on how window visits work, we did first come first served, and it's 30 minutes each session. We went by time slots. Like I explained to the patients and family, preferably 2 days ahead, or if not, 1 day before 1 p.m. The schedulers are always working on the patient's therapy schedule for the next day, so they usually want any notifications without blocking out a certain time frame by 1 p.m. Patients are aware of needing 15 hours of therapy in a 7-day grace period. So, once the schedules are out, they try not to do any cancellations if necessary. So far, I haven't had any issues with any family members or patients. They are pretty good about giving me a week notice for the time and day. This particular patient was admitted in the evening, so I went in the next day and gave the patient orientation and explained about the window visits. I reminded the patient about making sure to call me at least a day ahead if the family wants a window visit. The patient said they understood. The next day, the patient's son called my office wanting to make a window visit for the next day. I made the arrangements and explained to him the rules again, and he said he understands. It was now 2 p.m., and I suddenly get a phone call from the receptionist. She tells me that a family member is here for a window visit for that patient. Usually when I have window visits, I send out emails to all nurses in charge, therapy managers, schedulers, receptionists, etc., so they are informed too. I looked at my booklet and saw that there wasn't anything put down. I looked at the patient's schedule and saw that she was in a therapy session anyways. I told the receptionist I'll come downstairs to speak with the family member. I get downstairs and it was a lady. I said hello to her, and she tells me she wants to see that patient for window visits. I apologized and informed her she wouldn't be able to see the patient. She has to call to make an appointment ahead of time. This lady got mad and told me, "Are you guys a prison? You guys are treating my in-law like a prisoner." I told her we are not a prison, but there are protocols. Not every hospital is even offering this to families and friends. And that we are the only hospital doing this, plus it's to protect our patients, employees, and visitors. She huffs and kept calling us a prison, and that it is unfair. I asked her, didn't the patient's son already call this morning to see the patient tomorrow? She looks at me and rolls her eyes. "Well, I can't come tomorrow. That is why I'm here today." I apologized again and told her the patient is in therapy anyways, so she won't be able to see the patient. Plus, what if another patient's family is doing window visits right now, or that we are booked for the day? I already explained the rules to the son too. The lady called us a prison one more time and said for me to just bring the clothes to the patient and left. I came to find out this lady was the son who'd called this morning's wife. I swear some people are so entitled. I know everyone wants to see their family during this tough time, but what makes you so special compared to other people's families who are in rehabilitation also? 5. I was working at a very large bank call center as a consumer escalations agent. My job was to take over calls from frontline agents when the caller asked to speak with the supervisor. That means I really had to work on calming down the customer before I could even start working on the problem many times. This time was no different. I got the call from a frontline agent who said there was a transaction from a merchant that the customer didn't recognize, and the customer was very upset that we let the transaction go through. Customer would not let the agent talk and just wanted the transaction refunded and wanted to talk to a supervisor. I told the agent to transfer the call to me. While I was on hold waiting for the agent to transfer, I searched by the dollar amount and saw it coming out of the account every month for the exact same amount. The current company was a mortgage company X, but 3 months ago and prior it was mortgage company Y. I have an idea of what happened, but I had to get the customer to let me explain. The agent came on the line and introduced us and dropped off. I greeted the customer in my usual way by giving my name and giving a quick recap of what I understood the problem to be. "Hello, Ms. My name is Falcor, 02. My agent advised that you were unfamiliar with the business called Mortgage Company X, and you wanted to dispute the payment of a certain amount. Do I have that correct?" "Yes, I can't believe you let something that big come in without letting me know. How can you just allow any company debit my account without my permission? How can I trust you to protect my money when this type of thing happens?" The customer went on for a little longer, but at this point I was just leaning back and looking at the ceiling and contemplating my life. If she would just let me talk, we'd have a possible solution. After about a minute of her venting, she finally took a breath. "Yes, I fully understand your frustration. If money was taken from my account without my permission, I'd be similarly upset. Just out of curiosity, have you ever heard of Mortgage Company Y?" "Yes, that's the mortgage company for my house. Why?" "They had been debiting your account monthly for this exact amount until about 3 months ago. Then the name changed to Mortgage Company X. but for the same amount and same date. Oftentimes, mortgage companies sell their accounts to other companies who then take over the bills. Have you received any letters from your mortgage company advising you of a possible upcoming change?
Oh.
She's much calmer now.
You know, I think I did get something like that a few months ago. I just skimmed over it, but didn't think much of it.
Well, before we dispute this charge, it may be helpful to review the letter and see if the new mortgage company is Mortgage Company X. If so, this transaction is probably valid.
I'll do that and call back.
No apology for the tirade, no thank you for solving the problem, no nothing. Just venting and then hanging up when they realize they were in the wrong. I'm so glad that my current job is only communicating with clients via email. So much better. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Idiots in the Wild, episode 146. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button. It helps YouTube recommend the video to other people. And if you'd like to get the videos a little bit earlier, then you can support me through my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. You can do that for as little as $1, or more if you like, I won't say no to more, a month. And you can also buy yourself some Hellfreezer merchandise. My Teespring store is linked in the description. And lastly, if you'd like to leave a tip, then you can click on that little heart with a $sign in the middle and leave a tip of your choice. You don't have to do that, though. You don't have to do any of that, but I do appreciate it, and it's been very helpful. Okay. Let's see, do we have any shout-outs? I don't think we do. No, we don't. Okay, so let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is, how resistant to painkillers are you? Like right now I have a headache. I have painkillers in the living room that I know will take the headache away completely. But I've been resisting it for 2 days. I had my COVID booster on Friday there, so I got a little bit of a headache from that. Not severe or anything. It's just there and mildly annoying, but I've been resisting the urge to take painkillers. It's not to say I never take them, I indeed do, that's why I've usually got some at home. But for something like this, it almost feels like calling quits. And I say that because I'll probably go grab them when I go downstairs here so I can get work finished. But are you like me? Are you stubborn when it comes to painkillers, or are you just stubborn in certain situations? Let me know what you think in a comment below. And with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.